Okay, we're on. We're off and running. This is the third edition, not edition. It's the third in a series of four. There you go. Possibilities at play. And I'm so happy to see everybody back here today. There's been, gosh, it seems like there's more than a week that goes on between these courses because there's so much happening in the world so fast. And so, MaryAnn, I'm so happy that you're providing these classes for us.
Thank you, Nia. It really is a real honor and a pleasure to be here with you and the group, and to spread really the word about what is possible for us in these times, especially when on the surface they may appear one way, and we all want to thrive in the midst of whatever's happening in the world. And so that's where we're going right now. And it is it's really this week right now, our focus for week 3 is about interrupting pattern loops, and that's a skill set, and we're going to talk about that. And I love that this is a co-creation. So for those of you on the phone, if you I think just about everybody's muted right now, but when we get, into certain pieces, into certain areas, if you'd like to unmute yourself because you have a question, please feel free to do that. So, because we want you to be part of this creation. And before we get started into these limiting and interrupting limiting loops, what I'd really like to do is provide a quick review for those of you, because I know we have some new individuals on the call that are brand new, and then others who may have missed a session or so, as well as those who've been here all along. And that's the thing, when we hear it another time or again and again, it seems that we or receive additional information, right? It seems to come in different ways. And so in week 1, our focus was on energy. Essentially everything in the universe is energy. Modern science has told us that, and physics has proven that, and that everything is energy, and it's all interconnected. We are connected. And it's that invisible field of energy that holds the possibilities. And Greg Braden, one of my favorite authors on this, has a book called The Divine Matrix. And if you have not read that yet, oh my gosh, that's like one of my favorite books. And he provides a wonderful description about, in simple terms, about why we're all connected, and so you can find that in his Divine Matrix book. And in week 1, in that introduction, it was all about your personal reality, how we create that, and that's created based on your state of being. And it's a formula. The creation part is a formula. It's the thoughts leading to the feelings that lead to the actions, which lead to results, or your reality, or your outcome, or whatever you want to call it. And for many, that can be very liberating, because we in the past have been conditioned that, whatever, it's happening to us instead of it's happening through us. We think our reality, in the past at least, until science started talking more and more about this, and individuals you began to experience the actual thoughts leading to feelings, leading to action, leading to results. So now this is becoming more common knowledge, And people, it's a way of awakening that there's so much more to you than you thought, and we're all interconnected. So that was a key piece in that introductory first week, that the thoughts and feelings, or your state of being, how you are being, so your vibration or frequency is what attracts into your field, your experience of reality. And we each have our own unique reality. And it's still all interconnected, because in this quantum field, or the divine matrix, or the quantum divine, or the intelligence of the universe, or the cosmic mind, whatever you want to call it, it's just different words for, depending on your language and what your reference system is, for the same thing. And so that is where that state of being with the thoughts and feelings that is creating your reality. One of the key questions that you can ask yourself is, how easy is my life? So if you're feeling that there's oomph, and there's and it could be certainly a mix of things. If there's resistance and challenge and obstacles, there is it's important to go within and begin to look at, become aware of where the thoughts and feelings are. And this time in the world is a perfect time to do that, because we all are naturally slowing down for the most part, to speed up, because things are going to speed up, and especially the amount of information that's going to be coming to us. And so actually today we're going to focus much more on that internal guidance system that we have within us. And it's those loops that we could get into, which are really only past patterns or programs. And many of them have outlived their useful life, and yet we still sometimes play them over and over again. So far, any questions?
No. Good.
Nia, would you like to add anything?
No, I think you covered that really, really well. And it's really, it's really a co-creation. So in other words, you don't have control of everything that happens outside, but you can affect what comes into your field based on your state of being. And your state of being can be based on how you choose, where you choose to place your awareness. And so that's what I was receiving from what you said. And let's go.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, and because that state of being and your awareness, you could put an equal sign, awareness. So your awareness is your consciousness, and so that awareness equals consciousness, and where you place your attention. So if your attention is on, I can't do this. Oh, I don't know if I can do this, or whatever, or yeah, this is easy for me. This is easy. I've got it. It's where you're placing your attention that determines the energy that backs that up. And so attention and equals energy, which also equals where your awareness and consciousness is. So there's a flow there to it. And in that first week, we spoke about connecting with possibilities. I mean, that's where the excitement is. You envision something in your life, or is this possible? And there is really two key elements to that, to connecting to possibilities. Notice where you're placing your attention. Number one, because that's where your energy is going to go. And number two, you move into possibilities through the heart, through the coherence of the heart. And heart math, there's a lot of wonderful information on Heart Math Institute about coherence, heart coherence. And for us, for most of us, it is about slowing down, really slowing down. And that's why this time for really the masses, this slowing down is that pause moment. It is a time where awakenings are happening all over the place.
Yeah.
So go from there. And so moving into those possibilities through heart coherence is what will bring us home and hone in on those possibilities. So last week, week 2, we focused on your personal broadcasting system. So each of us is made, our energy field around us is made up of 4 bodies for us. Of course, we have our physical body, which we're all familiar with. And outside, so you have your physical body, and then outside your physical body, you have your emotional body. And then around your emotional body, there is a mental energetic. These are all energetic bodies, by the way. And then you have your spiritual body around that. And each of those bodies is constantly sending a transmission and a communication back and forth with the other 4 bodies. So internally, there's a transmission and connection and communication, as well as externally. So here's where it gets a little more involved, because to create the results that you really want and desire, those 4 energetic bodies need to speak to each other in a coherent, aligned way. And so again, it's that heart space. And realizing, I believe the example I gave was about the cake. So say you had a gluten sensitivity. Your physical body really doesn't digest the cake very well. And yet your emotional body is craving it, because the emotions tend to want things, the desire. So it's craving it. And the mental body knows, like, oh, no, I know I'm not supposed to have this. No. So, and then your physical body is, cheering for your highest good. And yet, there's really confusion in the body, because each of those 4 energetic bodies is transmitting or communicating something else. And yet its results, which is really interesting, because the composite of those 4, the vibration, is result neutral. Mm-hmm. So there's not a certain outcome that is guaranteed. It depends how those 4 bodies are aligned and communicating with each other. So again, it goes back to awareness of where are you? Mm. And certainly your feelings and what you're thinking. And yeah, I get it. We have, 60 to 75,000 thoughts a day. So to filter that as they're going through can be a challenge. However, when you're slowing down or pausing and this is one of the keys right now, the time element. Many people have much more time than they ever had before. Mm-hmm. And so it's an opportunity to look at things differently. So that, those bodies working together are actually creating your yes. And it's always going to be a yes. And that yes stands for your energetic signal. And that's what's calling in the result. Okay, so far? Yeah? Okay, so we'll move on. And this week, our focus for week 3 is on interrupting those patterns, those loops. And by the way, to really get more in depth on the introductory week 1 and then last week, go to the Human Harmonics YouTube channel, because the replays or the recordings are on that channel, as well as this one once it's uploaded. So, you know, feel free to send friends there too to listen in and have that information of it, and it's available to you as well as to others. And so this week, we're going to jump into this, this interrupting pattern loops and possibilities. I'm going to take a pause right now and open the lines for any questions.
What does that really mean, MaryAnn, when you're for this week's topic? You're going to go into it. I understand. But what is the title for this week again? What is the talk?
The focus on this week is interrupting limiting patterns. So things that would keep you from achieving the results you want. So in a sense, you're in this loop. It's like you feel like you're on that hamster wheel.
Okay.
You know, you keep going in circles and expecting different results, and yet they're not happening. Or another way to look at it is the gas brake. You know, you move forward and it's like, oh yeah, you know, your desire or what you're envisioning. So say for instance, it's a career piece, okay? You want a particular position, and you know, you have your applications out, you make connections, you have the interview, everything seems really good, and then all of a sudden there's a break, and the break goes on because they're like, oh, we changed our minds, we're not going to have the position, you were ideal for the position. And so then it's how you respond to that can create a loop for you.
Okay, I get it.
Helena?
Yeah, I get it. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. And so we have this, how many of you have noticed that once you purchased, you know, a new vehicle, and you're driving your vehicle and then you're on the road and all of a sudden you see, oh, look there's my car there. There's my car there. Oh, there's another one of my, you know, there's my car as you're driving along. You start noticing that, wow, so many people have your car.
Happens every time I buy a car.
Yeah. And what's at play here is called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. And what that is a network of neurons that are in the brain that are connected, all these different pathways that actually regulate your consciousness. So because your focus is, oh, I got my new car, and you've got these feelings and excitement. And so what is this reticular activating system doing for you is bringing up more of the same. It's bringing it into your awareness over and over again. And so it's this system, the reticular activating system, that draws in the evidence of whatever it is you're focusing on. And it could go either way. So if your focus is on a worry or an anxiety about something, what do you think the outcome's going to be?
Worry and anxiety.
More of whatever it was you were worrying and anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So if you're, going to the grocery store, especially nowadays, and, you're getting low on the TP or something, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll ever find, it in the grocery store. Chances are, depending how worked up you are about it, and you can test this, over the next few weeks, whether you will or you won't find any paper.
MaryAnn, it's a really interesting conversation because, some people would say that it's that the universe brings it to you. But I really believe that what it is everything is existing at the same time. What are you aware of? So if I wake up in the morning and I'm in a really bad mood and I stub my toe and I just start cursing at it instead of laughing at it, normally I would just roll on the floor in pain, crying and laughing at the same time. But if I chose that lower vibration and just went, crap, and kept moving through my day, then that's a specific vibration that's lower. And I'm going to run into everything that exists on that level. Now, if I shift that by laughing at what a clumsy fool I am in that moment, then it raises my vibration. And now I'm seeing other things that are available. So the concept for me, as far as my understanding, is that all of it is there for you. So those cars that look just like mine when I bought mine, they're always driving there. I just didn't notice them. But because I'm like, whoa, it's really in my awareness about this vehicle, then I start seeing them everywhere. And if I really need toilet paper and I see an empty shelf, and this has happened to me time and time again with not just toilet paper, but shoes, everything else. And I go, oh, yeah. And I turn around, I'll find it tucked away like in the banana aisle. Like somebody just left it there. But if I had chosen to respond with a curmudgeonly thing, I would now have a hard time getting through the people to get out the door and get in my car to go find it somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? It's all there, and what you're able to tune into is based on your.
It's always beautifully said, Nia. Yeah, beautifully said, because it is all there. It's always all there. And it's, how you're vibrating and how, because that's your energetic signal that your vibration is regulating that experience for you. Yeah, beautiful.
I'm looking for the vibration of the perfect man.
I have one. He's in the other room, and like 6 feet tall, kind of bald.
And he's all yours.
Yeah, he's all yours, Lena.
I'm looking for one for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So as we do this, it goes back to, again, that, Nia's example was a great one of your state of being, how you are responding, how your energy is in regards to everyday things in life, and that determines the reality or the possibilities that are attracted into your field. And so let's, a great way to interrupt patterns. So if there's something, and this is a little more from a cognitive place, and there's, all different ways. We're going to do a combination of cognitive and inner knowing in just a little while. And so is to ask yourself to pause. So when you're anxious or worried about something, and to pause and ask a series of questions. And we're going to work with these 3 questions in just a little while. Just a little while. and so that we could create greater awareness going forward for ourselves. And you know what, everything right now, I mean, there's just so many possibilities out there, and yet, how do we, okay, we have a question. Sonia has a question. How do we interrupt this loop? We interrupt the loop. Nia, you're smiling. I see you smiling. It's through raising our, really rising above it, above the loop, and interrupt it. So it's raising our awareness of it and raising our vibration. And that's a skill set. Nia, I feel like you're going to say something.
Yeah. Interrupting a pattern can be as simple as taking a rubber band, you know, like when if I would get into an energetic pattern with my husband, let's say, you know, they can say one thing and boy, you're right in it, right? There's this well-worn pattern of what that interaction is. The energy is used to coming this way. And when you get drawn into it, even if you just snap a rubber band, okay, woof, it breaks the energy right then, and then you choose something different. So it's when you're aware that you're starting to spiral, I don't care, go take a drink of water. If you're by yourself and you're starting to smile, put on I Love Lucy, it doesn't matter. But you just stop it from spinning in whatever way it takes. It doesn't even matter, just any way you can, and then choose differently. I hope that
exactly. Sonia, does that help? No. Check out let's just wait. Yeah, so interrupting that pattern is about making a different choice. And she says yes. So yeah, it's what do you choose next? That's different. And you know what? You could choose differently, 100 times, and then it just becomes a greater awareness, and your perception begins to increase, and over time that pattern no longer has that same hold on you, because as you make different choices, you will experience different results and different variations on reality, or different outcomes.
Well, and different things come into your awareness.
Yeah.
So when you're caught in a loop, you already know how it's going energetically. So when you stop that loop and place your attention somewhere else, understanding that the problem is still there, is there, but you're not wound up in the energy of it. And because of that, your awareness, other solutions drop in. That's the, I don't want to call it the magic of it, but that's energy. You become aware of something, a different solution that you cannot find in that loop. But the first part of it is stopping it, placing your awareness on something else to raise your vibration, and asking, oh, and then suddenly you'll see. I'm sure everybody has experienced that, on some level, with something like, wow, why didn't I think about that? Even if you think about, you know somebody's name and you're trying to find the name. Oh my God, I know that person. And then you can't remember it when you need it. You remember it when you're sitting on the toilet. It's like, why is that? Because the pressure of that trying to figure it out has got you in a loop. So anyway.
Yeah. And from a brain science perspective, that pressure shuts down the executive function, or the prefrontal cortex, which is where those possibilities and those other options are. So until you're able to open it and, you know, and choose differently, and then be unattached to the emotion part of it, you kind of let go, it opens up other possibilities. And other information comes in, options, your experience, all of that. Okay. So with that, this, for some reason, it's so important this time that we're going through, you know, on a micro level, we are dealing with an invisible virus, a you know, something that's invisible, and we don't know where it is, you know, really how it's transmitted. I mean, they have guesstimates as to how and how many feet you need to stay apart and all of that. And yet, I mean, this invisible virus has put the world, for most of the world, and the economies in the world and country and people on their knees. And this is a time in history that is really huge, because it's only the beginning of what can happen. I mean, and there's lots of possibilities that can happen. And so you all here that are on this call or listening to the call or the replay are here for a reason. It really is about connecting to your inner guidance, and I call it IGPS, your inner guidance presents solutions. It's about connecting to your, you can call it intuition, your higher self, a connection to a part of you that's greater than you, so that more information can come into you, because you're hearing lots of different stories. So on one station or one article might talk about an event or a situation in one way, and on another channel or a different article, completely the opposite, 180. And then someone else somewhere, you know, maybe more in between. And so what's the truth? Because in the future, we're all going to be making decisions, big decisions about things, and lending our voice to, you know, what's going on. And, you know, for example, one of the hot topics is vaccines, you know, and the more informed you can be about things, and from a really neutral place, and the clearer we can be about making decisions for ourselves. And that doesn't mean it's right or wrong, because, you know, all of those exist in the whole. And it's about creating the skill set, the awareness skill set, to tune in to what's right for you as an individual, knowing, you know, knowing that there's information coming through. And so this is bigger. I'm jumping a little bit ahead to next week in a way, because it's important, and it feels like something's accelerating, that becoming aware of how to discern or to perceive or recognize what really is truth with a capital T, you know, truth that would be for you, that really aligns with your heart and your soul, as opposed to, you know, out of the fear. Oh my gosh, we got to do this. Nia?
Yeah, what I'd like to add to that too is that, I mean, when you think about people's perspectives, really, what is the truth in any situation? And we only have our own filters to go through. So particularly now, as there's a lot of disclosure coming up, and I mean, as I've stated on my Instagram, I grew up in the movie industry and in the television industry. Media is the industry that I grew up in. And in essence, my job was to pretend like something was real enough to make you believe it. And people did. I know how to make movies to where they look completely real. That's what we're being informed by, is the media. So there's always a way to manipulate things. And people's top jobs, you know, with this information that we're getting, is to stay on brand with whatever the brand of that corporation is, whether it's CNN, Fox, whatever it is that we're watching. But when you step back and you watch whatever, and you ask yourself, what do I really feel? MaryAnn was talking about vaccines. Okay, what are the facts? It's this many. Okay, the CDC is saying this, the FDA is saying that, Fauci is saying this. The recommendation is 75 shots for my baby in the span of 18 years. How does that feel? Why do I have to sign these And you think about it, whatever information comes to you, the piece that feels like you can accept it without pushing back or having to claim something, like to prove something. If you don't need to prove something and you can receive whatever piece of truth out of a long line of other things that might upset you or you might disagree with, just take that piece, because that's the piece that you are ready, you're going to work off of. You know what I mean? If you have, it's like planting seeds. If you have a little pot, you plant a seed. If you have a field, it's a different number of seeds. And so just the way that you know is by the way that it feels. And that is the guidance system MaryAnn is talking about. As we negotiate our way through this world of corporate power and interests and a mixed match of government and money and world economics and world, you know, power struggles, you're going to have to be able to discern what you believe is the best information for you to move forward. And you know it by the way that it feels. And you don't need to know the whole, all of the truth. You need to pick out the pieces that are empowering to you because it feels like truth to you, and move forward from there. And then it's going to expand. It's always going to expand, and always give yourself permission to look back and go, whoa, wow, I think I had that a little bit not wholly right. Because without the willingness to do that, you cannot accept a truth that has expanded. So yeah, it's the guidance system.
Yeah. And comment Helena saying, that's wonderful, Nia. Thank you. So so let's tune into that internal guidance system as our experiential component for today, for today's session. And it'll begin with connecting to the heart. And pick, if you have a piece of paper handy and a pen, write down these. I'm going to give you 3 questions right now that you'll be able to work with when you're tuning into that internal guidance system, because that prompts the ahead of time. You would read these questions to yourself, and in relation to whatever the situation is, or the worry or the concern is about. So these 3 questions will help you. And the first one is, how is this situation serving me now? That's the first question. The second one is, what's the invitation that is being presented? So how are you being invited? What's the invitation right now? And then the third question is, and anytime you ask your reticular activating system about I wonder, it begins to search. It's like a spotlight. It's like a search engine. It begins to search your consciousness for a response. So I wonder how good it can get. So remember, we're going for the possibilities that that exist for you. Okay. Do you need those questions repeated? No. Okay. So at this time, take a look. The question can have to, you know, you're going to speak with your internal guidance system. It could be in regard to a relationship. It can be in regard to vaccines. It can be in regard to your career, into your health, a new opportunity, a travel adventure, whatever it is you want. So I first identify what your focus area is. And which one of those categories. So pick one for yourself, or it can be something, yeah, that you really are, well, certainly if you're concerned about it or worry, there's some worry around it, or uncertainty, and you'd like greater clarity, because this is really about obtaining clarity. And that's where your guidance is in that. All right. And so I'm going to invite you to put your feet on the ground right now. We want to be grounded when we connect, and close your eyes. And we are going to take 3 deep breaths, inhaling from the nose and then exhaling through the mouth. And these are conscious breaths. So as we're doing this, our body is filling with consciousness. We're relaxing and letting go of the lower, you know, kind of what's outlived its useful life as far as vibrationally, and just allowing that very naturally to, when we exhale, to move. So let's inhale and then exhale. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more time. And exhale. And now I want you to place a hand on your heart. Connect with your heart. Bring your awareness or attention on your heart. So that's where you're placing your energy. And allow your heart to breathe into your heart. And then allow that exhale through your heart. Again. Exhale through your heart. We're slowing down and pausing, connecting to higher guidance through the heart. One more time. And exhale. And now bring to mind your unique question or situation, and continue to breathe through the heart. And exhale. Notice what is coming into your awareness. So notice how the situation is serving you right now. And bring that into your awareness. And then notice what the invitation is that's being presented. Are you being invited to respond with new information? Different information? And notice how you feel about that. And then the third question is going to tap into possibilities, other possibilities that you may not have thought of yet. So I wonder, this is your question, I wonder how good it can get in this situation or in this circumstance or in the example that you have. And with your hand still on your heart, allow your heart to fill with gratitude and appreciation. And thank your higher self for providing guidance. And when you're ready, take a couple, again, deep conscious breaths and exhale. And come back. Back into your body. If you need to wiggle your toes or your fingers. Come back. There we go. There. Wow, there's a lot of unraveling, I feel. A lot of clarity that has just really opened, like a clarity portal almost has opened up. Wow. It feels beautiful. So, is everybody back? Yeah. Ah, we have, I'm crying. Someone is crying. Oh, wow. A release or joy. Wow. Is there anyone that would like to comment or share or have anything that they like to add about the experience?
I feel really calm and connected.
Thank you. Yeah. Wow. I still feel it's working through us still. There's an unwinding that's taking place. So these patterns collectively, it feels like, so each of us may have had different pieces, yet coming together as a group, we were able to unwind for each other many levels and layers of patterns simultaneously, which is really beautiful. And we have someone saying, I feel a deep sense of peace within and around. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So allow this energy to continue to unwind those patterns that really have they're outdated. You know, it's essentially like an internal software upgrade. Wow. Yeah, it feels like this is going to continue for a little while. It really, much gratitude for being here and showing up, because this is impacting us all here, as well as anyone who listens to this recording, as well as it just vibrates out into the world. And there's a question to me asking, do I feel, do you feel our energy? And yes, I do. On on a collective, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Because I tend to, when I work with a group, I work with the collective. And yeah, so it is actually beautiful. The love too, and that calm and peace. That's that helps your physiology, so your immune system too. When you're able to move into that sense of deep peace within your body, it really helps the immune system and upregulates it. It's a boost. And one of the responses was when the first question came up, which was, the question was, how is this situation serving me now? The individual said they felt anxiety rising. And now she says, I feel a greater peace. That's wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you. Nia?
Yeah, I just wanted to share that this is what you're doing in your life for yourself is not, you're not just doing it for yourself. There is this, you're impacting the frequencies of those around you and of the greater pattern of the world. Every time you shift yourself, you are impacting that. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has this amazing thing that he shows where he has like 100 different metronomes, you know, ticking along, and he just on a table and he hits them all at different times, and they're going like this, right? They're just, all of them are at different times. And then sooner or later, as he's talking, you see them start to line up, and all of them end up lining up together. And that's why our ability to recognize what frequency we are in and choose that which will bring us into the frequency that we want to be in is so important, not only for how we experience life, but for the world that we're creating, because it's impacting everyone else's. And sooner or later, people, they line up with it. And this is what we're doing. We're laying the groundwork for what we want everyone to be able to align with, rather than, I mean, look what happens when people are afraid. The fear just runs through everything, and you're like, what's happening right now? It's so, they don't even have to know what's happening, but they just start running, and you can feel it. And so this is the power that we all have. So it's amazing. MaryAnn, thank you for giving us, working with us on the tools here.
My pleasure. And I'm really looking forward to next week when we're moving from the me to the we. So collectively, and I'm not even sure what's coming for information on that yet. However, it'll be a nice juicy way of wrapping this up, the 4-week series. So thank you, Nia and Human Harmonics, for hosting this.
All right, you guys have an amazing week. We will see you next week. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.